the better the person is that you're training with, the better you are, because they have a higher understanding of the positions, which means they're going to react in a higher technical degree as well. So now you have to react with also greater technique, with greater, where are you going to go? So there's like a chart, right? You know, the pyramid scheme. Jiu-Jitsu is basically a pyramid scheme. I have a move here, but I could go here, 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 or here. When if I go here, this one also triangles out. These moves also triangle out. So you're seeing all of these possible pathways in that split second. So the better the person is, the more views of pathways that they have, the more possible positions that you could get up to, because you're also lying to each other the entire time. You're lying to each other with feeling, with positioning and movement, the way you're moving your eyes, the way you're diving in on something. You have to lie to them so they believe you're following one pathway so you can go to another pathway. Well, they also understand this. So they're also lying back, playing along that they're following you, but they also know that you're lying, and it's just a constant head game. So basically, even if you're flow rolling properly with somebody that's highly skilled, it's a pretty intense situation.
Fucking stacks, man.
Guys,
Good to see you guys.
You didn't get any smaller.
Oh, it's pasta, man. You know, I'm on the Italian diet, baby.
Are you gonna start sweating with like slick?
Olive oil, yeah.
No fucking.
So Convocation is a gathering of Jiu-Jitsu practitioners here at American Combat Club. It's completely neutral. We're here to promote the Jiu-Jitsu community and get more and more people involved, not only in Jiu-Jitsu, but different gyms to start to collaborate and work together so that we have a little bit better bond within the different gyms and in the Orlando area in particular. What we do with the Convocation is we give the Jiu-Jitsu practitioners who are learning Jiu-Jitsu, who have got some experience, an opportunity to show some of the techniques that they've been working on, some tricks or tweaks to what they've been trying to accomplish in particular in the martial art, or just things that they've taught people or found good success with. And in that, they also get an opportunity to work on their teaching skills and work on teaching a group class so that they can see all experience levels and how successful they are at translating that trick or that move or technique that they've been working. Yeah, this is an any skill level class right now. So you have a white belt to black belt in here. Everybody's mixed up. We mix up the higher belts with the lower belts so that the lower belts, the white belts or blue belts, have a higher belt with more experience with them so that they can also guide them through the technique if it seems to be a little bit more complicated, or if they're pretty new to the martial art and they're not actually as proficient at what they're doing, they have someone that can help them and prevent the easy mistakes being made that would frustrate them from learning or actually pulling off the technique. This year's been inspired by Solid, my introduction to Jiu-Jitsu, and the fact that when I got into Jiu-Jitsu there really weren't any black belts anywhere to be found. So the first coach I ever had was a blue belt. And in honor of that, and in the fact that we're sitting in a room full of knowledge here, we're not sitting in a room full of competitors. The guys that are in this room typically, and especially today for the most part, will train in. But we're all here to help build each other up. We're all here to experiment. We're all here to educate one another. And so we're going to stick with that same theme that we kind of had throughout the year, which is our almost 80cc bottle, and that every belt completes the same level. and we're going to have two guys again teach class. One is going to be pole toss. It's going to be teaching takedown, and then the brother will be teaching the ground technique. So, not wasting any more time talking, we'll start this conversation.
Finish, whatever that is, fight, or take another step and pull the leg out in front of you. Again, my wrestling stance, change the level. Two steps. Again, my hands are getting in the right spot. I got my legs, I got my head control. Pushing my leg further through the grip. Move my foot to the outside. Try to go to the hook. Move this over. I want to pull into this way.
Same time. We're not the same time. What do you do? 2:05. In here, down, arm, rigid here, hands going to carry him over, bring the knee, plus the neck. I'm a little slower. Blocking the heel, so he can't step back into me. He's going to be wanting to get out of here. Bring my leg in, and side control. This time, now that I'm putting it all together, it's going to be much more fluid, and ideally, I want to slide into this. So I'm not having to land on my knees and bring my knees together because he's crawling on me, he's big, he's heavy, and he's stuck underneath me. So ideally, I'll just slide right underneath him, and he'll fly right over me. And another thing, I'm not grabbing or holding his leg, remember, I'm just guiding him over. So, bring it this way. Wrestling move that I just started messing with because I was always getting single leg. He was always catching me single leg, terrible balance. So I had to really learn how to get my grips and kind of fight in this weird, awkward position. But once I was able to get my foot to the ground, dive underneath, the whole thing kind of clicked for me. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you for that. So we're going to do this side control position. Left the core. Yeah, that. The anatomy lesson, you can Google that on your own. I'm just going to call it whatever I can think of at the moment. So we're going to create hip pressure, use that slight bit of time to get our hands underneath, drag it up, use our frame to push away, shuck him just a little bit just so we can overstep, collect his leg, pull it in, get our basic half guard from here, and we'll move forward after this. Just a simple little introduction. Then of course our frame will change, right? But for half guard particularly, I want this here so you can expose his leg. And if it's hard to get that heel hook, not heel hook, to hook your heel over his foot and pull it away, you can still then post this down and push his leg underneath. That's like a last ditch resort.
Okay.
Show me. Yeah, so we want your heel here to look like that. And when you pull back like this, you see how his legs become light? Boom, and now you can pull your leg over his to get that.
You're not going this way.
You can, because we're going to go to the lockdown.
Gotcha.
But for right now, I didn't go to the lockdown. We're just going to get we just went straight to the half guard, but we're going to the lockdown.
Understood.
You know, baby steps, guys. We all Listen, doesn't matter. So, we got to this half guard, right? By stepping over, so we back up a little bit more. So, we stepped over, we scooted the foot away, we scooted this one in. We did not go to traditional half guard. We locked up our lockdown, dove under, hip switched underneath, pushed them away, got the gear. Tested our partner's flexibility nicely. Maybe we get a tap, maybe not. If we do not get the tap, we keep this, come up to our elbow, and stop. A little bit smoother. Just to save time, we'll start from here. I have my post. Come in, put your weight, test his flexibility. He's good. Come up. One more time, slow down. We're here, we're posting. Underhook is deep, lockdown is tight, in between hamstring and calf, hip switch underneath, dive through, post if necessary, coming down for the electric chair attempt, test his flexibility, we'll go, come up to our forearm, maintaining position. Any questions or need to see it?
What's the plan? Going to the half guard? Or going to lockdown?
So going to half guard is going to be a completely different system and route. So just separate half guard and the lockdowns completely for the purpose of this class. So if I was going half guard, I cannot do the electric chair sweep, and I definitely cannot do the electric chair. The lockdown is going to effectively keep them on top of me without them being able to knee cut or put pressure. So the lockdown is kind of like having a Kimura grip. So I'm controlling him in a whole different series versus Americana. Well, they're very similar, they're not the same. Half guard versus lockdown. Anybody else? All right, 1, 2, 3, 4. This lockdown half guard, let's take time. Scooping under. Top guy is going to post out to protect himself from getting swept. Now, I'm trying to come up, but he's really good. He's got good balance. He's pushing with fight, right? So what I'm going to do, push out a little bit, just so he can get up here. And I still can't get him. But that's okay. We can almost always make him uncomfortable enough to reach that arm. Just by putting him in this position. Again, it's not going to get the submission. With enough pressure, I'll be able to do this almost every time. So now we come up on top. We are never letting go of this lockdown here. We're going to cross face him underneath, underhook here, and now we can really put this guy in a really bad predicament by stretching our legs out. I'll just let go of the lockdown for a second, like this. So we're not just driving our hips in forward. I'm driving my hips in by pushing my feet away from me, fully elongating myself. And I'll be really nice when I do this cold here, right? So we're here, we're underhooked with my right arm, and I'm cross facing him here. I'm gable gripping, and I'm gonna pull into him and stretch myself out until we get the tap. You will not always get the tap here, but it's pretty likely that you're gonna get this, right? So, we're in here, we got to this position. We didn't get the submission here, right? That's okay. We're trying to go for a sweep, but we cannot. He's good, he's pushing away. We can't get it. We're still in our lockdown. I'm still pulling down here, I'm still keeping this tight. I'm making him really uncomfortable. I'm even torquing his knee, using my knee that's against his here, this guy, by pulling it in, by hamstringing into him, and pushing his foot up. Really just making him uncomfortable, just so he can make a mistake. If I'm just pissing him off here, I can eventually grab, pull, come in. Cross face here, underhook, cable grip, stand tall, push into his leg, and eventually, banana split this dude. Right? It's not a power move, it's a momentum. Scoop, scoop, good. Now look at him fucking stretched out. Use your body to put this down, slide it underneath, good, get up. Drive this arm up, keep driving it up, keep driving it up. You see how his arm is coming towards you? Dive for it and pull his wrist out. Come on top. Knee on cross face, same thing. You put your leg in, put it on your shoulders. Put it on your shoulder. You're in charge here. Show him.
No.
Show, look at his leg, look at his leg. Calm down, relax, right? This. So the leg cannot be off hard, right? Look at how mobile he is. He's going to lose all that mobility just by bringing his legs in straight. Look at his leg is now, and I feel tension. If I open his leg, look at all that tension. The leg needs to be here. Now, he's already uncomfortable, there's no weight. So if I stretch him out like this, versus stretch him out like this, it's not the same amount of pressure. It's linear pressure, not angular pressure. Focus. You're fucking focused. Right? Over here, just like we were. A big problem from what I've seen was after we get this sweep, right? I reach for his arm, I pull it. Most people, they were letting the leg come out here. And you're coming in, you wonder why you're not getting the submission. Well, if I just stop here for a second, just show you. The amount of mobility Cole has here with his leg open here is a lot more. Just pay attention to his leg position here. If I bring it in, automatically you can see the distance between his thigh and his chest is less, or more, actually. Here, there's a lot more mobility. So if I'm trying to stretch Cole out by driving in, he's a lot more flexible here, and that's just the way it is. So we need to make sure that his thigh is against my neck. Not only is his thigh against my neck, but I'm bringing it closer. I'm not being able to hear that here because I'm bringing it in so tight. And this is how we get the tap. This leg is out here at all. It's just me pinning it down, which is fine. I mean, we want the submission. So just remember that when you're trying to go for the electric chair submission. But we're going to back it up to this position here. Let's just say I'm just not able to get that arm. Like, I can't even get up to here for some reason. Maybe it's just moving, maybe it's too slippery. But for some reason, I can't get to my elbow to post, and I can't reach this arm. I've tried, I've exerted all my energy. I need another option. Luckily, we have one. So, we're gonna take this hand here that we would normally post with, which for some reason we cannot. I'm going to dig it under here, his hamstring, and come under here like that. So we're here. We can also help with a little bit of shuck from our other arm. We're coming here, we're coming over. I'm going to take this arm, Again, I'm using my lockdown effectively. The lockdown is being used at all times. It's very powerful. I'm making him uncomfortable. I'm stretching him out here so I can sit up. And I'm reaching across his waist here. And again, I'm stretching his lockdown out, making him extremely uncomfortable. The more uncomfortable he is, the more mistakes he's liable to make. Now that I've posted, back it up. So I've scooped under, and now I'm going for my post this way. By stretching him out, coming up for this tight waist. Walking myself up, keeping my lockdown tight. Come around to the back, here, coming over. Notice I never let go of that lockdown. I'm already scooped over for my seatbelt control with the half back lockdown. I will not be asking any more questions to Larry. Does anybody else have non-ridiculous questions? Jesus Christ, you're not a Brazilian? Anybody else? Okay, 1, 2, 3. Because you let go of the lockdown, you loosen the lockdown up. Well, you have to loosen it up, but you're gonna let it go. I'm not squeezing it, but I never let go of the lockdown.
I need to articulate.
You just unlocked it a little bit. I loosened it. So
I need to kind of show me this part.
Like even here, you're supposed to.
yeah, if you look, I'm loose, but I have it. Right? Because we're moving. I can't glue myself to them. I need to be mobile, right? But now I'm here. So I'm not going to let go. But it comes a little bit loose right now. But I still have the lockdown at all times. But I am able to move.
Now at the end of each class in American Combat Club, regardless of what we're doing, convocation or normal class, we try to take everything from top to bottom. The format in this gym is to teach Jiu-Jitsu in a complete sentence form. So I'm really trying to instill in the guys that are going to be teaching these classes to still do the same, which would mean we want to start out with the initial engagement. In this case, it was a single leg. And then we want to run through that defense to that single leg to lead into the fireman's carry, which was shown in this class. That would lead to the ground technique. But in a nutshell, really what we're doing is we're teaching people from white belt to black belt level to demonstrate technique from the initial engagement of a fight, which would be on our feet, to executing a takedown. And then once we've gotten the takedown, to either improve our position and assume the person's position who got taken down, or continue on the aggression and assume the person who scored the takedown into a complete position that would give us a submission. Jiu-Jitsu should be taught as a fight. It shouldn't be taught in individual techniques. Individual techniques can be confusing and it's hard to chain them together.